Yes, yes. Pardon? Hi, Len, can you hear us? Len?
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Man, hi, we can hear you.
You can?
We can hear you.
I can hear you. Okay, good. Thank you.
All right, good morning.
Can you hear me? You can? Okay, good. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That's the reason John Bolton has resigned from the board. He resigned. He was happy. Stay away, brother.
Yeah,
Don't fall over backwards either.
I'm in the reclining position. Sorry, guys.
You look like you're floating.
I threw my back out, so I'm sitting with ice on it.
Fun.
Yeah. Reclining position. Sorry,
You look like you're floating.
guys. Threw my back out, so ice on it.
Please, if you have a silence yourself, please do so. Deputy Town Clerk, please call the roll. Member Brown? Here. Member Brown? Here.
I'm not hearing anything.
Me neither.
I hear you perfectly, Len.
I know, and I hear you. We could have a, we could just meet the two of us.
Member Adwar? Vice Chairperson Goldenberg?
Present.
Chairperson Axelrod? Present. Town Attorney Rubin?
Present, but can barely hear you.
We have them, are they attending the meeting? Yes. Good. Oh, Teresa's going somewhere. Oh, Town Planner Allen. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Let's try, please rise and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under Okay. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Mine, should we maybe sign back in again? Just,
I can hear now.
Can you hear us now?
I can
barely.
hear you. You're a little muffled.
That's probably because of mail. Can you hear us now?
That's much better. I can hear you.
You gotta speak into the mic.
What about you, Member Brown?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're projecting your voice pretty high.
So the problem is that when you all are speaking, please speak directly into the mic. Okay, thank you. Okay, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? If there's none, I will take off a motion to accept the agenda as written.
I'll make the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Swear, for those giving testimony, please raise your right hand and rise who's in your hand. You sworn in? By the authority vested in me as a notary of the state of Florida, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. There being no public comments, we'll move to approving the minutes of November 12th, planning board regular meeting. Are there any corrections or additions? May I have a motion to approve the minutes of November 12th?
I'm not accepting.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll now look at the minutes of December 10th. Now, are there any corrections to the minutes of December 10th? And I'll take a motion to accept the motion.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving along. There being no unfinished business, we'll now move on to new business. The development order application number 20-009, Gestion E. Bernier. Application by Unlimited Permanent Service Incorporated for special exception approval to replace the 715 square foot dock with a 544 square foot marginal dock, install a 158.5 linear feet of seam wall, and install an 8-pile, 40,000 pound capacity boat lift to the property located at 4205 Pentecostal Drive. Do any of the board members have any ex parte communication? At this time, I now open the public hearing. Town Planner Allen, please present your recommendation.
Sure, good morning. For the record, Ingrid Allen, Town Planner. If we could please go to slide number 1. Okay, here. There you go. Okay, so this is an aerial of the current property. This aerial is taken January 22nd, 2021, just to give you perspective of the site. If we could go to slide number 5. Here, this particular slide is the proposed plan. And you could see here that there's the 40,000 pound capacity boat lift with 8 piles. And I do want to point out that this boat lift is located on the southern portion of the property. Oh, can you see it? Because it's hard to. Okay, I see it now. Okay, so that's the boat, as I said. It's located on the southern portion of the property. In this part, the canal is a little bit wider than the northern portion of the property. Also here you have the seawall and the 544 square foot dock. I also want to point out that per the code, if you are in a single family zoning district, which this property is located in, the actual zoning district is residential single family. You are required to provide a 25-foot setback on each side. It's a 25-foot side setback, and you can see that the applicant is consistent with the 25-foot setback. If you could please go to slide number 2, please. And here you have the boat lift section. I do want to note that the request is consistent with the definition of boat lift, which is provided in section 30-131 of the town code. And it reads, in no case shall the lift be higher than the superstructure of the boat when lifted. So you can see here from this diagram that the lift is not higher than the superstructure of the boat. I also do want to point out that the applicant has provided the height of the pilings. From the dock, they're at 6 feet 6 inches.
And that's what the mechanism on, correct? The lifting mechanism?
Well, there's the little motor on the top. That's probably about it.
Well, the pylon itself looks like it's 5 feet, and then the mechanism, the lifting
Right,
mechanism,
correct,
is a foot and a
correct.
half, so 6.5 feet.
Yes.
I got a question.
Let her finish, then we can go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just
Go ahead.
briefly go over just the rest of the staff report. The applicant did obtain Florida Department of Environmental Protection approval. I've gone ahead and provided the file number in the staff report. And according to their authorization from FDEP, it does state that the request does not require a separate permit or authorization from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Now, I did make a note in the staff report, which I'll reference here. When you look at the FDEP permit and the plans that accompany that permit, you'll see a reference to an additional 15,000-pound capacity boat lift with a 120 square foot platform. Now, since the applicant got their FDEP approval, they've decided to not move forward with this additional boat lift. So it's not part of this request that's before you today. I just wanted to point that out. The applicant is consistent with with the provisions of seawall height, which is provided in section 6128B. The request is consistent with the special exception provisions of section 30-36 of the code where applicable, including consistency with the town comprehensive plan and the code of ordinances. Staff does recommend approval subject to the following conditions. That following approval by the planning board, if the board so chooses to approve it, and prior to initiation of construction, the applicant will be required to obtain a building permit from the town engineering department. And pursuant to section 30-21G of the code, commencement of construction shall be initiated within 2 years following the date of approval by the planning board. Completion of all conditions of approval shall occur within 2 years following the date of approval. I'll be glad to answer any questions, and the applicant's authorized agent is here as well to address any questions you may have.
Right. Actually, Brian Scott, if you remember.
Okay. Ingrid, since we have dealt with pylon heights, is the town going to ever move forth with a code that depicts height of pylon?
It's a good question. Actually, staff is currently working on an ordinance. I am working with the town's marine expert. There's been a sponsorship of the ordinance by Commissioner Bobby. He has provided comments to staff as to what he would like to see, and we're working with the marine expert to look at unforeseen circumstances. He did recommend, or I should say, comment on possibly putting some sort of piling height, a maximum height. So we'll see how all that flushes out. So staff is working.
Okay.
Yes.
What I see here is consistent, certainly with what's in the North Marina and driver aisle, that 59, 60-inch height of pylons or boat.
Well-
That's the good thing. So it's within range, I would say. This.
You're talking about the piling height. Well, again, the code doesn't provide a max height.
I know that, but
But,
at least
yeah.
this is consistent with what this is.
In all reality, I didn't look at piling heights and other boats in the area because, again, the code doesn't require us to do so. I always have the applicants now provide the piling height on the plan, so it's very clear to the board what you are approving. But again, staff do not do an assessment of piling heights in the area because the code, there is no maximum height of pilings in the code. So I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
Eileen?
Yeah, that's what.
Slide number 1.
Yeah.
So, I think I remember this property. That's a different property, okay. That actually, I thought this was that property, and I know that we approved the house on one of the lots, so I was just, okay. So this is on the other side, and, okay, I was just confused.
Yeah, in the staff report, I denoted that they did get a single family residence approval by the planning board.
And they are
Okay,
building.
720.
And they are building it.
Yes.
Okay, okay, great.
Question is, what about neighbors? Have there been any comments at all about neighbors and navigating of the canal?
I have not received any public comment from neighbors. I don't know if the clerk's office has, but I have not.
So is the south end that's closer to where that other pool is the south end, and that's where they plan to put the dock?
That's correct. Let me see if I can find you. Yeah, so it's going to be on this side versus this side.
And how large a boat are they planning to put in there?
The request is approved by- And it doesn't require the applicant to
Right.
provide the actual.
And how wide is the lift?
If you look at the plans, it does go out, I believe it's 18 feet from the dock. Yes, goes out, the pattern that extends into the water is 18 feet from the dock.
The neighbors have been contacted, we've heard nothing from them.
That's correct. Everyone within 500 feet of the boat has been advised of this.
Good, we'll be able to handle water.
I was gonna say, how wide is that opening?
Do we have,
I mean, the reason is we've had an issue before, and we want to make sure that we clean it up before we
let's
go.
see if I have 500-foot radius.
Roger, you have that tool. Can you help us out?
Yeah, it's very hard for me to hear you. I apologize, but
You have that tool, you know, the measuring tool to know where the 500.
yeah, I know that canal quite well, and I think it's fine that have that kind of width in the canal. If it was at the north end of the property, it would be a problem, but at the south end of the property, it's not an issue.
All right, so it will be guaranteed to be on the south end then. So the
Yeah, it is on the-
navigation should be an issue. I mean, I know you know those canals real well.
Yeah, it's on the south end, it's fine. North end would be a problem. But I have a question about the seawall. It says that the seawall is going to be put in front of the other seawall. Is that a common occurrence? If that happens all the time?
Yes, we have that type of scenario. Again, this was approved by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection and Good Authorization for that.
Okay.
Can I also add for the record, as part of the development review process, I did provide the plans to the town's marine expert, ATM, and I do have an email from Dr. Jenkins indicating that he saw no issues with the proposed construction relative to hazard to navigation or infringement of standard navigational practices. He went on to say that the canal is sufficiently wide and straight in this area to accommodate vessel use.
Harry, do you have any comments or questions? Okay, then does the applicant want to make any sort of presentation? Excuse me, sir, can you turn on the mic? We can't hear you and start again. Thank you.
William Thomas, Unlimited Farm Services, 6311 Northeast 19th Ave, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm here to answer any questions, and I would just like to know that Kimberly is very, very good at her job. She's very thorough. She makes sure we follow the code. We did everything that we could to make sure that we presented something that could be approved on board.
Thank you.
Does anybody on staff, anybody have any questions for the applicant?
I have another question, I'm sorry. Is there a restriction on the height, because it says in the drawing that the height of the keel will be above the dock? Is there a restriction in that?
According to the definition of boat lift, it says the bottom of the keel of any boat should not be hoisted greater than 1 foot above the minimum seawall elevation. And if you look on the plan sheet, the applicant is consistent with that provision. I'll give you the sheet. So, slide number 10. As if you look at slide number 10, there's a note on the top right about the whole keel. It's consistent.
Are there any other questions from the board? Okay, and the public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion to approve, a motion to approve the condition, or a motion to deny this request?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Please call the roll.
Member Mendelson? Yes. Member DeMars?
Yes.
Member Brown?
Yes.
Member Edward? Vice Chairperson Goldenberg?
Yes.
Chairperson Axelrod?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Number 10, we have some announcements.
Wait, before we get to announcements, guys,
Go ahead.
like a unrelated new business or old business. I was just wondering if there was an update on the lawsuit on our other boat lift.
They filed an appeal, and the court just issued an order to show cause, so we have to respond to the appeal. But on a related note, we did bring the matter before code enforcement in January. The code enforcement board tabled it because there was a pending motion to stay in the circuit court, and the circuit court did grant the stay. So we are unable to take any code enforcement related to the pilings until the appeal is resolved.
It's going to be a while now.
It's most likely going to be a while, yes. The appellate division moves quite slowly.
I have one question on that. I'm sorry. But at this point with the appeal, there's nothing to be done with putting a boat on that lift. It has to just hold as it is.
You were kind of I'm sorry, you were fading in and out. I didn't hear the question.
So with the appeal in process, the applicant cannot put a boat on that lift and use it at this point.
He cannot do anything. He's also enjoined from any sort of activities with this respect to those pilings. So they're just going to sit there until the appeal is resolved.
Thank you.
Okay, announcements. On February 15th, the town hall is closed in observance of the President's Day. On February 16th, there is a town commission meeting. On March 2nd, there's a town commission meeting. And on March 11th, I don't know if this is definite or not. Okay, there will be a planning board meeting. Now, there being no further business, I will call for a motion to adjourn of the shortest meeting in history.
I'll make that motion.
At 9:15 a.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Stay healthy.
Thank you.